Hey, so what if I told you that there was something inside of you that existed before language and before rules and before anyone told you who you should be? And the problem is not that you do not know, rather, you do not trust yourself to know. Because you see, a bird still knows how to find its way home and it doesn't need a map. Why? Because the truth is not something you find, it's something that you remember. And I often get asked the question, like, if you don't follow teachings or the books, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? And I ask them in return, how does the river know how to reach the ocean? How does the seed know how to break open into the light? Truth is written, yeah, but not only in ink. And the heart doesn't need a manual because it was never a machine. It's an instrument. And the question is, who's the one playing it? They say things to me like, oh, I followed my heart and it led me astray. To which I respond, then that wasn't my heart. That was the voice of fear which you had mistaken for the heart. Because the heart is like a compass and it knows where home is even when the mind does not. So if what you call following your heart has led you to ruin, then ask yourself, was it truly your heart or was it your wounds speaking in its place? Your unaddressed wounds. Because the starving man will eat poison and call it food, and the lost man will follow echoes and call them signs. But the heart doesn't mislead, it doesn't crave destruction, nor does it move from fear. And they tell me things like, oh, but the truth is subjective. Sorry, the truth is objective. Okay, then tell me, when the wind moves through the trees, does it sound the same to all ears? And when the river runs over the stone, does it shape them all in the same way? There are eyes that see the words and nothing more, but there is a silence that speaks louder than words ever could. And the question is not which way is right, but rather, do you have the ears to hear and the eyes to see and the heart to feel? And another topic I want to talk about is belief, because I often hear people say things like, oh, I did affirmations, or I prayed, or I chanted, and it made me feel so good. And I ask myself, okay, but like, what would happen if you stripped these rituals and these words and the repetition? Would the power still be there? Or is it only there because you believe it? If it's not the words alone or the ritual or the belief, it's the belief. And if belief is giving it power, then what does that mean? What does that mean about reality itself and the nature of reality? It means that reality is not happening to you. You are creating it as you go, and what you believe will shape the world around you. It will move mountains or it will chain you to the ground. And here's the hard truth that most people are not ready to hear. It has never been about who or what you follow, it's always been about what you believe. And you see, belief isn't always innocent. It's the reason why some people are still in chains and why some people see miracles where others see nothing but empty space. So I ask you to ask yourself, what are you believing in? Do you believe in your limitations? Do you believe in the fear that was handed down to you before you ever had the chance to choose? Because if you do, then that's all you will see. Because reality is not solid. Reality is like the liquid in your mind. And this is why I stopped looking outward and started looking inward. Because the moment I realized that belief is the seed of all things, I understood. And once you see that, you can't unsee it anymore. So if you believe that your chains will bind you, that if you believe in your chains, then they will bind you. But if you believe that you have wings, then you will fly. And we often hear the words heaven and hell, but have we truly felt them? We talk about them as if they're places or somewhere that we go when we pass away. But did you ever ask yourself, what if it was a state of being? What if it's a state of consciousness and that it can exist with us right here and right now, wherever we are? It doesn't matter if one is sitting in a palace made of gold and another is sitting in a cave made of stone. Because heaven or hell is not defined by the world outside. It is created not by what you see, but how you see it, how you perceive it, and how you feel about it. And I would know because I've experienced both. I've experienced both heaven and I felt hell. So I'm speaking from experience, and those who know what I'm talking about. So it's about your inner world. It's about how you choose to perceive what is happening around you. If you're stuck in a cycle of negative beliefs, that will become your reality. You know, if you believe you are trapped, you will create a prison in your own mind, and that will become your hell. And this hell looks different for everybody. But guess what? You have the power to change the story that you tell yourself if you haven't realized already. You know, and this to me is the true meaning of heaven within. When you realize that heaven is not a destination, it is a state of being, you understand that you can embody it at any moment, regardless of your circumstances. And it applies the same to hell. You know, it's not a place, but it's an emotional and a mental state that you know, and the beauty is you create it, you know, so you have the ability to shift between them, and not because the world changes, but because your perspective changes, your belief changes. And then once you change your mind, you change your life, because our inner world is reflecting our outer world. No, our inner world reflects our outer world, you know. And it's not always easy. It's simple, yeah, but it's not easy, but it's worth it. You know, and I often hear people also falling into this trap of chasing the light. But why do you think the more you chase it, the more it runs from you, the further it slips away? Why? Because the light doesn't belong to the seeker who hunts it like prey. Rather, it comes to the one who has made peace with it. Because darkness is not the enemy. Darkness is the womb where this light is born, and it's the soil and it's the cocoon where the butterfly becomes. You know, I didn't find my way by clinging to the sun. I found it when I surrendered and I let the unknown take me. When I allowed myself to fall and to break and to be lost, only then in that surrender did the light come to me, you know, and not as something outside of me, but rather as something that was already dormant within me. And not because I chased it or because I proved myself worthy of the light. No, it's because I was finally still enough to hold it. You know, if you truly seek the light, do not chase it, become it. And break yourself open until the sun pulls through you, because light doesn't come to those who chase it. Like I said, it comes to those who are ready, and you are only ready when you no longer fear the dark. And to those who are looking for someone to come and save them or to complete them, I want to remind you that the love that you seek is not outside of you. The love you seek is the love that you must become. You know, and when I hear things like, oh, I'm searching for my other half, I think, okay, but if you are only half, then what do you have to give? You know, to those that are longing for love, listen, whatever you desire in another, you must first nurture this in yourself. To receive love, you must be love. You know, you want a love that is deep, then drown in your own depth. You want a love that is wise, then become the student before you seek the teacher. And if you want a love that is unshakable, then become the mountain before you ask somebody to climb. You know, and I always say this, the flower will bloom without having to go looking for the bee. And those who know. So stop searching and start becoming, and what is meant for you will arrive without question. And trust in God that when you walk with that power, that nothing can be taken from you, because you already have everything. You will be limitless. You know, so on a final note, when you are making a choice, ask yourself, who is speaking? Am I moving from love, or am I moving from fear? Am I moving from emptiness, or am I moving from fullness? And what are you worshipping? Because whatever you bow to, you give power to. And don't be afraid to question and to break and to let your heart guide the way. Because in the breaking, you will open, and in the questioning, you seek, and in the seeking, you become. and the heart knows the way always. The question is, are you brave enough to listen? So I'll leave you guys with that, and just a reminder, just follow your heart, because like I said, it knows the way. Thank you, and I love you.